Hi, my name is Céline Gareau-Brennan, and I am a business librarian at the Cameron Sciences, Engineering, and Business Library. This is the second of two short videos for SMO 301 for the semester of winter 2020. If you have any questions about these videos, do not hesitate to reach out to me at crg@ualberta.ca, and your professor will also have received a PDF version of these slides that they can share with you. Now, in all the presentations I really hope to save you time and money when it comes to research and business information. More specifically, by the end of this video, I aim to make sure you know where and how to find the different types of information about companies for your group assignment. Now, in order to meet these goals, in this video, we're going to look at where to find information for company research, specifically the difference between public and private companies, company reports, articles, and news sources. Now, it can be helpful first to think about the type of information you want to access for supplementary research. These are a few types of company information you may want to look for: the profile or history, the company culture, who's who, the CEO, president, VP of HR, etc. Recent news, latest plans, who are its competitors, the company versus other companies in the industry, where do they place? Now, in business, there is unfortunately no magical place to find all of this information. So you sort of have to play detective and use the following places to find this information: company reports and profiles, company annual filings, company websites, news articles, journal articles, and even sometimes social media from these companies. But before even starting to look for information in these places, it really helps to know if you're dealing with a public or a private company. This is because the amount of information you find on each company, on a specific company, will vary depending on whether it's public or private. Now, public companies are much easier to research because they are legally required to make some information publicly available. So to know if a company is public or private, look for annual reports. So a public company will have annual reports either in EDGAR, if they are on the US Stock Exchange, and Canadian Stock Exchange companies, so other public companies traded on the Canadian one, will be in the database CDAR. Now, you also want to look at a company's website. Is there a mention of accountability to shareholders? If yes, they are more likely public. You can also look for investor relations, about us, or a company page, and they may tell you whether they are a public or private company. If you need any help with this, just let the library know and we can look into it for you. Once you know if a company is public or private, you can use our databases to look up company reports. If a company is public, you want to use the following databases: MarketLine Advantage. This is a database that has company profiles with SWOT analysis. Mergent Online provides copies of annual reports and profiles for over 11,000 public US and non-US based companies. Now, Orbis is a global database with descriptive information about company financials and the company itself, and has public and private company information. Now, Factiva includes full text of newspapers from around the world, in addition to Canadian and American newspapers. And this one is a great one to look for news about companies. There are limits on downloads, just as a heads up for that. Now, Thompson One really has serious financial stuff, and just a heads up, this one only works with Internet Explorer or Chrome with the Internet Explorer tab extension. And then finally, the Financial Post. This contains detailed information about Canadian public and private companies, company directors, archived financial information. It also has some special analytics tools too. Now, I just want to show you the MarketLine quickly because it has a big draw for this one because it includes SWOT analysis for companies. Here, I will type in WestJet into the general search. And then in the search results, I will scroll down to companies. and then select WestJet and get a WestJet report complete with a SWOT analysis that you can use just by clicking on the left-hand menu with the SWOT analysis. Now, if a company is private, really the best bet is using Orbis, but even then you may have to piece information together from different websites and news articles too. Now, we have a couple databases that specifically look at sustainability, specifically environmental, social, and governance factors. Depending on which components of organizational behavior your group chooses to include in your assignment, these may be useful. Now, Sustainalytics contains social and environmental profiles of companies on the Toronto Stock Exchange Index. And the MSCI ESG Direct provides ratings and analysis of key environmental, social, and governance factors for over 2,000 global companies and enables comparisons of companies within the industry, their industry sectors, which is great. Now, the company website can also be very useful to gather information about the company. In looking for information about the company, you may want to look for labels like investor relations and information, privacy, legal, about us, or the company page. And you want to look for the following information: annual reports, 10K forms, management discussion and analysis, letters to shareholders, investors overview, and message to CEO. But in all this, remember to view it with a critical eye. Remember that those writing this content have a stake in the company, right? So social media is also a great way to find out informal stuff about companies. They want to be seen, so they will usually have a presence on at least one social media platform. LinkedIn is great if you want to talk to someone who's worked at the company. Now look at these pages as not just a consumer, but with a critical eye. Once again, they are a really great way to gauge internal dialogue and the company culture. Now, looking at the company website and social media, once again, we're looking at information that has been produced by the company itself. So we probably want to look at other resources about the company not produced by the company. A good source for these are articles and news sources. A good place to start are the business websites that are really reliable for business news, such as the following on this list here. Now, you also get access to databases through the library that aggregate news from different sources. To use these databases, there are a few tricks that are good to know, specifically using the operators and or are not. For example, if I'm looking for corporate culture at WestJet, I may want to link these two keywords with the operator and, limiting my results and making sure I only get articles that include mentions of both WestJet and corporate culture. Let's say I want to expand what I'm looking for. I may want to use synonyms or closely related terms like corporate culture or organizational culture to make sure I'm capturing everything I want in my search results. You can also use not to exclude certain search terms. Note that when I'm looking for a phrase like corporate culture, I will put the phrase between quotation marks to make sure that the database is looking for all these words together and not just everything that mentions culture and everything that mentions corporate. And that's important to note. As you may have caught on in using these databases, finding synonyms can be extremely useful to get as much relevant information as there is out there. You may want to make sure you look at synonyms or closely related terms for your keywords before searching. This is because different databases and different authors may use different terms to refer to the same organizational behavior concepts. You may want to use these techniques in the following library databases that aggregate news from many different sources. So CBCA is really good for Canadian content. Factiva is great for international news. Business Source Complete is a really useful one because this database includes all articles from Harvard Business Review and also contains some SWOT analysis. Now, the Business Premium Collection gives you access to the Wall Street Journal, so that's another good one. And the Press Reader is great for current Canadian news. It's not so good for historical stuff. Now let's see an example with CBCA in which I will look for information about WestJet's corporate culture. So I will use the advanced search, and in one box I will type in WestJet, and in the other I will type in corporate culture or organizational culture, making sure that I'm using and here to connect the two searches. And now I get my results. If I want to limit the scope of my results further, I could use more keywords to my search, so add more keywords, or I can also filter my results using the menu on the left-hand side. You can filter by things like type of publication, the date, etc. A type of publication you may encounter while searching are trade journals. Trade journals are also very useful for looking up specific issues as they relate to organizational behavior, given all the practitioners contributing to these publications. Now, this concludes our second and final video for SMO 301. I'll also be coming into your classroom to answer some questions, but if you are stuck or have questions, the PDF that accompanies this video has links to the following library services, and I encourage you to reach out to us at any time. Thank you so much for watching, and best of luck with your assignments.